everyone. Welcome back to the Adventure Within podcast. My name is Heather, and I am here with Swami. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
All right. So I just want to start off as I usually do. I always ask, where did your spiritual journey begin? Um, so give me the lowdown. Like where did this path start, or was it just always there for you?
It was not always there for me, no. So, I mean, I was born, I'm from a Brazilian family, and we were born, like in Brazil, it's very common to have some form of faith without a label on it. So
Mm.
you believe in a higher power, but not within a specific framework or any kind of dogmas. So that was my upbringing, and I didn't consider myself, Christian or Hindu or anything like this. But my mother was somebody who was a big meditator. She used to meditate a lot, and
Mm.
she was really the person that would drive this contact with this kind of side of things in my life. So she would ask me to come meditate with her in the mornings when I was a kid, things like this, that I guess it in some sense opened up my mind to doing these things and not finding it to be weird, but it
Ah.
wasn't something that I was like chasing. It's like I was a kid, right?
Right, right, right. You're like, it's like eating breakfast. It's just the thing I do.
Right, exactly, exactly. And my friends don't do it at their house, and that's weird, but in my house, this is how it goes.
Right.
Um, so then when I was a little older, I was maybe 15, I had a chance to meet the person who would then become my spiritual teacher for life. So the person who I'm still learning from today. And it was a bit of a chance meeting. So my mom, she went for a job interview. She saw a picture, and the conversation started sort of rolling from there. And it turns out that he was giving interviews at the time. So it would be like you could book a session and come and speak with him and seek some guidance. And his name is Paramahamsa Vishwananda. And this was in London at the time. So my mom had
Oh,
just moved to
nice.
England, and I was there, fresh. It wasn't like I hadn't been living there before. Um,
So very out of fish out of water
yeah,
experience.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But those are sometimes the best ones. They just come out of left field, and
Well,
that's how
that's
it
the
goes.
best time. That's when spiritual shit just happens.
Yeah, sure, 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 sure. I agree. And then so we went to this meeting with him, and I guess he was expecting like a one-person situation. So one person walks in, but what's very typical in Latin families, Brazilian families, is that everybody does everything together. So
Mm.
it was a whole squad of us that went. It was my mom, my stepdad, my sisters, me, my uncle, my grandmother, like everybody just
You just
went
brought the
in
whole tribe. I love it.
like a train going in. And I remember his face just laughing, like with each person coming into the room, like just being surprised, like, what is this?
Right? He's
Um,
like, am I being punked right now? Like, that's awesome.
and then, and he was super young at the time. So like my guru, he was 27 years old when I met him.
Mhm.
And for a spiritual teacher, that's kind of young, right? So normally in
Right.
the field,
Well, at
white
least that
beard,
people take you seriously as a spiritual teacher.
100%, 100%.
Because they're like, hey, I don't believe you unless you have some gray hair, you know?
That's it. That's it. I mean, the stereotype of a guru type figure is, big beard, gray hair, sitting under a tree saying wise things. And
Yeah,
that wasn't it at all, right?
right,
He
right.
was he had a big smile, 27 years old in the middle of the city,
Hmm.
and it was a great experience. I obviously at that time I didn't really have any profound questions to ask or anything like that. I just loved being in the presence of someone like him because I could objectively say that just being in his presence, I felt a difference. Like he knew something that I didn't know. Like he was
Mm,
living a reality that I hadn't encountered before because the
yeah,
smile he had was a little too big.
right.
It was like he knows something. He's up to something. Like
Right,
there's
right, right.
something
He's
going
on
on.
another level.
Right. And I remember like that, honestly speaking, and when I left that meeting, I had a tough time for the weeks that followed because every time I went to do the things that I love to do, I remembered that smile
Hmm.
and I remember thinking, mine's not like that.
Hmm.
Like and that comparison annoyed me actually. So for the first few weeks, I was annoyed by meeting my then
You,
um,
it's like you
guru.
stole my joy. How dare you? But not
Exactly,
really. It's
exactly.
like not really, but that's kind of what it felt like. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And it was a year later that I think, and I stayed in touch. I mean, my mom really liked it. We really liked it. So it was one of those things where we would attend events from him and the organization that he belonged to as a whole. every now and then. But a year later is when I think my path really took another dimension, and that's because um, I had a situation with the law. I was at a house party. Something went down that wasn't supposed to, and the whole, it became a huge investigation, who did what. And I was
Ah,
caught up in this. And I
right.
was caught up in this. And at the time, it really shook my the foundations of my faith in life, in reality, because I was an innocent person suddenly embroiled in something that was nasty, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I was facing, potential repercussions of prison time,
Oh
of,
no.
like, and because the investigation was ongoing, we couldn't really talk about the details. So a lot of friends started to like doubt me and leave me and say,
Oh
maybe this guy's
no.
up to no good. And so what I really remember sort of getting out of that moment was how fragile everything is.
Mm-hmm.
And at 16, it forced me to, honestly, I felt like I was forced to grow up a little faster.
Mm.
That's really what happened.
Yeah.
I had to mature. I had to understand that things can be taken from you in one moment to the next,
Right.
aspirations and dreams. And so I went back to meet the same spiritual teacher with a different lens. It was kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, so now I've been exposed to how this life can go.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong place, wrong time, and suddenly you're facing really different prospects.
Right.
Could you help me show another way to live life where I don't have to live with the perpetual fear that whatever I'm building and whatever I'm feeling can be taken from me at a split second by
Mm.
some random external circumstances?
Right. Right. Like all the things on the outside, it's like, oh, they don't seem as important now. And, obviously like these things don't have as deep a meaning. So it's like, okay, I kind of want to like, be centered and feel better within. Is that kind
That,
of what was happening?
yeah, it was a mixture of that and realizing that I couldn't build my house on those external foundations. It was just it felt like they can be stolen from me, right? And
Yeah.
so my intuition was like, okay, but inside, whatever I find inside can't be taken from me by whatever happens. And so it was really about
Mm.
pursuing that and seeing where that would take me. And that's really, I think, what took things to another dimension. And I went to him with that intention, with that sincerity, with that clarity, and we began a more committed and serious journey on a project. The project being my life, the
Hmm.
project being
The
this
project
inward,
being you. Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
inner journey, right? And finding a different source of love, a different source of happiness. And a lot of things happened. And like I said, I think my transition from aspirational material life into aspirational spiritual life started to happen for me. And what that
Hmm.
meant was just a life built on finding a connection to source inside of myself rather than a life chasing external things to check the boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I'm sorry you had to go through like this like really dark thing, but honestly, yeah, it's like because that's I have not the same kind of thing, but I had like where I call it like the dark years where I had like 2 years that were just dark as can be, and after that, that's when things started like I started looking inward and really like going more as into like who am I? What do I want? What is life for me? And like my spiritual journey's been very, very slow. I'm like, like, wow, you met your spiritual teacher at like 15 and then really dove in at 16. That's awesome. Like it took me till I was like 28 to really to really dive. But that was just my journey. But yeah, going through those dark, heavy things really actually like people avoid them at all costs because
Mm.
they're uncomfortable. But that really is like the time where the most cleansing and the most beautiful things happen is kind of in the darkness. So like, sorry you had to go through that, but hey, I'm happy for you at the same time.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate it. And I think a lot of the time people they run away from that uncomfortable stuff because it's uncomfortable, but
Uh-huh.
eventually they find out that running away is even more uncomfortable.
Right, because then you go so far the other way and it's like you don't have your answers or you don't feel like you know anything about like, well,
You
who
never
am
grow. You
hmm?
never grow. You never grow.
You never grow, right? I didn't hear what you said. I was like, what? Oh no, I love that. Oh, that's so like just very profound and that's so beautiful that you had that at such a young age and you just had that knowingness that you needed that. Like that's fantastic. Like so many young people like I see them and I'm like, oh, but yeah, like, oh, you're not ready to hear this yet, but I really want. It's like, oh, I
But
really want to steer you this way, but oh, it's like you're
but I
just
think
not
you
ready
hit the
for it
nail.
yet.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's a question of readiness. I think some people are just, it's a question of timing. And
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of trusting in divine timing because I feel like sometimes you try to press a message onto someone a little too early and it can have the opposite
Opposite.
effect.
Yes, then they don't want, yeah, then they want nothing to do with it and they're just like, ah. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's finding that balance as a spiritual guide and teacher, trying to be like, okay, I see you. But how do I bring that to your attention without scaring the crap out of you? Oh, I love
Definitely.
that.
I
Okay.
think also another thing too. Yeah, sorry, go on, go on.
Oh, no, no, no. You go ahead. What were you about to
No,
say?
I was going to say that it was about divine timing. I think it's one of those things where what you were talking about the balance. I think
Hmm.
one of the things that I've settled on is trying to live an exemplary or inspirational type of life and then being available. So like if I retreat to my cave and hide myself, then in a sense, if I've actually managed to achieve anything in life, I'm hiding that example from other
Hmm.
people. Now, one thing is showing the example, another thing is trying to, sort of preach to them. And I think one of the main principles that the tradition that I belong to sort of promotes, the Bhagavad Gita, one of the things it talks about is inspire people by doing your work
Mm.
with love, with devotion, rather than disturbing their minds. And they'll
Ah.
come to you. They'll come to you asking the
Ah.
questions. They'll say, what is it that you've got going on that makes you the way you are? And like, can you, speak to me a little, show me a little, whatever it may be. And I feel like
Mm.
that's been a way, an approach that I've taken, that I've been instructed and guided into that has been way more effective.
I love that. And that actually is perfect. Like, I was like, I feel like that message is for a lot of people, but also just for me, because like here currently, like I'm a spiritual teacher as well, and I'm trying to
Hmm.
find students. And it's one of those things where it's like I keep finding myself reaching outward, trying to find them. And it's like, no, it's all with me. And I need to be visible. Because in today's world with social media, like as spiritual guides and spiritual teachers, like, people are not always kind to us. And so it's kind of like you get hit with that like invalidation or that like fear, not necessarily of rejection, but of judgment. And so it's one of those things I'm still working through myself. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting less worried because I know what's true. I know what's true for me, and that makes it easier. But sometimes it's like, oh, I just want to find my people. I just want to talk to my people. Like, I just want to talk to my students. So, no, that's very profound that you said that, like, just live outwardly as yourself and as your true self, and then your tribe will come to you. So it's like it's stuff I already know, but hearing you say it, I'm like, mwah, just love it. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Um, so you've been doing this for quite some time, since starting. I'm not guessing your age. I'm guessing by the beard. You're seasoned. But so you've been doing this a long time. Did you ever come across a time even after you started spiritual practice, like, okay, you've dove into this, you have your guide, life's obviously not going to go perfectly after that, because the healing journey is up and down and all around and in a spiral, and things you're working through. So was there a time where you hit the proverbial wall and you really questioned the path you were on? Because life does its thing sometimes.
Mhm. No, it's a funny one. It's a funny one. I think I hit a wall, not in the sense of questioning the spiritual path I was on or the teacher or anything like this. It was more the lifestyle with which I was going to do it. So I was in
Mm,
a strong debate between, because today I'm a monk, so I live as a celibate monk, and this was something I've done this now for approximately 15 years, and I've been on this path for 20 plus.
mhm,
Um, and the thing is that there was a time when that was the real debate inside of me. It's how
mhm.
do I want to pursue my brand of spirituality? How do I
Mm,
want to live this? Because it was attractive to me in both scenarios, either living as a very sort of world-facing, outward-facing person who is doing the quote-unquote conventional path of life, getting a family, career, and all of this, but doing these and living these spiritual principles in that setting versus going full sort of 100% exclusive dedication to this and nothing else with a view to perhaps getting to a kind of outcome a little faster, being able to help people because I'll have the time to do it,
Mm,
no other commitments. And so it was really like I could see myself in both scenarios, and that maybe froze me a little for some time. That
mm,
really made me talk a lot, try to listen a lot, observe a lot. And it was one of those things where I know myself, and I think this one something that I like to encourage people to think of is that you know your nature, you know your tendencies.
mm,
And so
hmm.
for me, I was never good at multitasking emotionally.
Ah, ah. Okay.
So I'll give you an example. So I was the type of person that if I'm in a relationship with someone,
Hmm.
I'd be very possessive and very jealous, right?
Oh, okay.
And so knowing that about me,
Mm,
the idea of splitting my time between things was always difficult because if I'm in thing A, I'm thinking about I could be with thing B right now. And if I'm with thing B, I'm like, oh, I could be profiting from that or whatever. And so it was really one of those
mm.
things where I realized I'm someone that likes to go all in. When I do something, I give
You go
100%
up.
of myself.
Yeah.
I would like to not have multiple things pulling my energy, my attention, my commitment,
Hmm.
because at some point I will feel inadequate in one of them because I'm
Right.
not giving my all to it. And so
Hmm.
that was really what settled my dispute. It was that I had a really deep desire to give my all to something. And
Hmm.
for that, I felt like I need to simplify
Hmm.
and I need to have one objective and one only. And that's why I took this path.
I love that. That's awesome. And yeah, and knowing that about yourself is crucial and key. Knowing yourself, like knowing like okay, because it's as I'm not diagnosed ADHD, but I understand that I have a bit of an ADHD brain, so I have to design my life around my tendencies. It's like, oh, if I put that in the closet, I'm going to forget about it and it's not going to be there. So I have to put it in my way to remind myself to do it or whatever, whatever have you. Um, so yeah, no, knowing yourself is very important and then kind of designing around that is important, especially when you're going down something so as important as like I guess a soul journey or a spiritual journey or however you want to call it. Um, and then like designing your life around that because if you deny like that part of yourself or your way of navigating that and trying to force yourself into a mold that you don't fit in, like yeah, that's huge. That's so good on you.